Okay, good evening everyone. So this is your task 3. Okay. So basically first we'll see the description, okay, what this task 3 is telling you, and then we'll start with your code part, okay? Or we can see the concept also and we'll see the code also, okay? So first I'll tell you some of the brief and then we'll start with the code side by side. So your task 3 is basically clustering analysis. Okay. In this, your objective is to perform customer segmentation using clustering techniques. Okay. And your project steps in this, you have to, these are the basics. Okay. You have to select first a data set, which is e-commerce data set. You have to select with column like customer ID, purchase amount, frequency, and you have to task perform. You have to first scale data for clustering, use k-means clustering to group customer, visualize cluster, and what you have to deliver is the cluster assignments for each customer and visual representation of cluster. Okay, so basically your this is project description is your customer segmentation using clustering. Okay, so main objective is to group customer into, you have to group customer into distinct segments, okay, based on your purchasing behavior using k-means clustering. Okay, so this involves basically this is yeah, so basically this involves analyzing their demographic and purchasing data to discover meaningful customer groups. Okay, so concepts which are used in this project, first is clustering. So like what is clustering? First, a machine learning, it's a machine learning technique that groups similar data points into cluster. Okay, cluster means a group something. So which is k means and k means clustering is assigning data point to k groups, okay, based on their distance. Okay, it will cluster points to k groups based on their distance to the cluster centroids. Okay, so this is the first concept we have used, and second concept we have used, I'll first give you description of all the concept we have used and then we'll see the code part directly. Okay, so second concept we had used is standardization. Okay, so basically in this we are what is this? So basically you have to scale the data, this is the data scaling, okay, which ensures that all feature contribute equally to the clustering algorithm, okay, which is like sensitive to variations in scale. Okay, and third concept will use elbow method. Okay, so this is a method to determine the optimal number of cluster, okay, by plotting the sum of square distances, which we call inertia also. Okay, and by plotting the number of square distances against the number of cluster. Okay, and the fourth concept we'll do is the visualization. Okay, we'll plot a scatter plot and a cluster centers which help in interpreting the customer segments. Okay, so these are four concepts will used in this project. First is clustering, in this we'll use k-means clustering, then standardization, then elbow method, and then we'll do the visualization. So then now we'll start with the code part. So in this you have to first install the necessary libraries. Okay, so you have to, you know how to install, you have to do pip install pandas, numpy, matplotlib, cbon, skillet, learn. These important libraries you have to install. Okay, then you have to import necessary libraries into your Jupyter notebook. Panda library, you know, basic library we have to import every time. NumPy library is for useful for any numeric data. Matplotlib is used for visualization. Cbon is advanced visualization library. sklearn.cluster library, I just tell you, I just told you cluster what we are going to do. For this you have to import sklearn library. Okay, in this clustering and pre-processing, standardization, k-means, everything comes. Okay, from that we are importing k-means, and from sklearn.pre-processing we are importing the standard scalar. Okay, So in this, what we'll do first is to import necessary libraries, then you have to load the data set. Okay. So data set, this is your data set example. Okay, you have to choose by yourself. Okay, so this is the dataset URL, and I've taken, and you know how to read your dataset pd.read_csv, and inside it you have to mention the dataset file. Okay, replace with actual dataset URL. Okay, so you have to load the dataset. I hope till now everyone knows how to load the CSV file. Then you have to display the first few rows, and how you will show, by using the head function you can show the top 5 rows of your data set. We have to analyze our data set first, then by using the info function will display some of the basic information about the data set. This will give you the concise summary, and then we'll check for missing values by using the isnl.sum function. So these are the top 5 rows, if you will see. Okay, these are the column names, and this is the info function. Okay, this is the concise summary, this is a small data set, and this is the data type. So it depends on you what kind of data set you want to choose. Okay, and here missing values is 0, so there are no null values here and missing values. Okay, means it is a clean data set. Okay, so first load and inspect the data set is done. Now what we'll do, we'll pre-process. Okay, we'll do the data pre-processing. So in this, yes, so data pre-processing, also known as the standardization, so which we have seen. Okay, which I told you just now, will do the data pre-processing, means will ensure that all feature contribute equally to the clustering algorithm. Okay, which is sensitive to variations in scale. So for this you have to select relevant columns. Example like this. For illustration, we assume columns this, okay, are used for clustering part. Okay, so here you have to take these columns, then you have to standardize the data. Okay, for standardization, you have to use standard scalar function. Okay, you have to use dot fit. Yes. So first we'll assume the columns which are there. So, okay, then we'll standardize the data. Okay, so for this you have to use dot fit underscore transform, and here you are calling the features column. So basically this method in the sklearn dot preprocessing class combines the fit and transform method into a single step. Okay, this fit will calculate the parameter, okay, such as the mean and standard deviation, and transform apply the calculated parameter to standardize the data. Okay, so this function is used to pre-process training data and learn the parameters needed to scale the data. Okay, then you have to display the first few rows of the standardized data. So by using print statement, these are the first 5 rows of the standardized data. Okay, so now we are using the elbow method to find the optimal number of cluster. Here we are making a new array for the inertia. K range should be between 1 to 11. Okay, here we are using the loop. Okay, so for K in K range, K means we are calculating K means dot fit. Okay, fit will calculate the mean and standard deviation. Dot append, we are appending the inertia into the K means. Okay, then we'll plot the elbow method graph. So for plotting the elbow method graph, you have to use dot plot function, and you have to mention the range, inertia, and marker equals 0. Okay, rest all are the syntax is same. Title, X label, Y label, how to plot, everything you know. Okay, and X text will be your K underscore range. So basically this is your elbow method for optimal K. Okay, and this is your x-axis is your number of cluster, and your y-axis is your inertia. Okay, so this is how you have to create. Now this is also done. Now we'll perform the k-means clustering. Okay, with the optimal k from the elbow method that we have found. Okay, assume k equal 3 here, because we have choose that time 3 columns only. So optimal k is 3 here. K means you have to mention your K means. Okay, and then you have to use here dot fit underscore predict. Okay, and inside the parenthesis you have to mention that scale underscore feature. So what is fit dot fit underscore predict? This will do. Okay, so basically this function is in the sklearn. Okay, dot cluster dot means this fit and the other fit predict. This understanding we use with the fit method on a k-means model. It give an attribute label, okay, which basically holds the info on which observation belongs to which cluster. Okay, so this function also has the label attribute in this. Okay, so this is how you have to do. Okay, and then you have to add the cluster label to the original data set. Okay, so for adding is you have to, yes, you have to mention here the cluster and you have to add the cluster label to the original data set by using this syntax. Then you have to display the first few rows with the cluster labels, and these are the clustered first few rows by using with the cluster labels. Okay, and last is you have to do the visualization of your cluster. Okay, you have to visualize your cluster, which is, yes, you have to use the scatter plot with different colors for each cluster. Okay, here you have to plot the scatter plot. Okay, of that k means dot cluster underscore center. You are plotting it. Okay, and you have to use different colors for each cluster. Okay, and then you have to highlight cluster centers using k means dot cluster underscore centers. Okay, this you have to do. Rest all other syntaxes is same. Okay, you know how to plot the scatter plot. Okay, this is the C1 scatter plot. So this is your customer segment cluster center. This is your cluster center. Okay, centroids, which is this. So basically this is your customer segments scatter plot. Okay, x-axis is your feature 1 scale and y-axis is your feature 2 scale. So basically, yes, this is how you have to do. In this, what we have did, I'll repeat again. In this, you have to first import the basic libraries. Then you have to do the data loading part. Okay, by using pd.read underscore csv, you have to load CSV file. It is used to load the data set, and by using info and check for missing values, this you have to, this for displaying data set information, and then you have to check for missing values. Okay, and then you have to also use head function for displaying some of the rows. Basically you have to analyze your data set. Okay, and after doing this you have to do the standardization part. In this, the standard scaler ensures all features all features have a mean of 0 and have a standard deviation of 1. Okay, preventing bias towards larger scalar features. Okay, and then you have to do the elbow method. You have to use the elbow method to find the optimal number of cluster. In this, iteratively fit k means for different k values you have to do, and then you have to plot inertia, which is your sum of squared distance, okay, versus k to find the elbow point and indicating the optimal cluster count. Okay, and then you have to do the, this is the elbow method, then you have to do the k means clustering. In this, you have to cluster data points into group using k means dot fit underscore predict, and then you have to assign cluster labels to the data set for further analysis. Okay, and last you have to do the visualization. In this, you have to use scatter plot with different colors for each cluster, and then you have to highlight the cluster center using k means dot cluster underscore center. Okay, so in this, your recommendation I'll give you, which is you have to interpret cluster attributes to derive actionable insights for business strategies. Okay, so yes, this was all about your task 3 of your clustering. Okay, and I hope it's clear to you all. And you know, within 7 days you have to complete this task. Okay, so I hope what you have to do in your task 3 and the concept clustering is clear to you. If not, then you can ask me any doubt in the chat box right now. So is this task is clear to you all? What you have to do in your task 3? Is it clear? Yes or no? No, Deepika, you can do on Google Colab also. It depends on you. It's not compulsory to do on Jupyter Notebook. Yes, okay. So, you have to complete your all tasks for receiving completion certificate. So, please complete your task, and if you face any problem regarding this task, then you can ask me in the Jupyter Notebook. Oh, sorry, Telegram group. Okay. So, in that group discussion group, you can ask me any doubt related to this task, and please complete your task on time. So, those who have any more query related to this task, you can ask me in the chat box. Else, you can leave the classes over and we'll see you next task then. Okay, thank you.